I am making this video, honestly, it seems like whenever I made a video like this, the channel was about to go to a different place. So I'm making this to kind of level set us and to, just be transparent before this next influx of content that y'all see from me. By the title, full transparency, and it was two specific things that I wanted to talk about. One of the words being, you're not behind, you're better. Okay. And then the second part of this is going to be, it is that, but bigger. And those are two things that the Lord really gave me in summary. When I look back on this year and just what I have gone through and what I've learned in the process, which goes back to the videos I just made, those are two things that I can honestly say that I learned this year and what I believe and know that he did for me. So the first part being, you're not behind, you're better. It was really hard for me this year enduring what I endured and feeling like I was not super Meg, because for the most part, I always feel like that. Like I can figure it out, I can thug it out. But the way I was tested and tried this year, it really forced me to have a seat, starting with my physical health, the family emergencies. Like it didn't matter what plan I came up with, nothing was going as planned, like nothing. And it was very taxing emotionally, physically, spiritually. Like it was just a lot. And so I just wasn't in a place in my life to be super Meg. Instead of being the person who usually everybody can go to and count on and depend on, like, I need you to pray for me. Like, and I'm not saying people weren't still doing that, but I felt like I was no good to anybody because of the place I was in. So this was a year where I really had to lean on people more than I'm actually used to, where I had to ask for prayer. Like, and I'm not usually that person. I'm very, proud of being super Meg most of the time. And so the Lord had to humble me in that way and show me. And it was my dad who told me that, like you can't always be that person. That's when, the other people have to stand up and they have to be that for you. And I thank God for my family, because they had to come through for me in a lot of ways this year, back to not even being able to stay by myself at some points. Like, it was really challenging for me. Miss Independent, Miss I got it really, really hard. Okay, and I'm laughing as I think about this, because if that's how I am as a woman, y'all imagine how Superman my husband really is. Like, and I always say that, like, just imagine like that I view him as like Superman, because that's how Jesus is, right? But like, if I felt like that, imagine how he felt in this year. And that's going to go to a kingdom marriage word. Okay, so there's that. So I felt really behind. I felt like I lost a lot of momentum that I had gained and that I was trying to gain. Like I felt like 2024 had just knocked me backwards, and it was really stressful for me, like my personality and just how I am and how much of a go-getter I am. And like I said, like I just pushed through, thug through everything, and like for it to not feel like that, that's why you're not behind. For it to not feel like that, that was very hard for me. And so where God makes me have a seat, I feel like he's humbling me. He's forcing me to sit down and take things in, because I'm always on the go. I'm always moving. And so stuff has to happen, I feel like, for me to sit down and be still. But what I realized was I needed that more than I realized. I needed to be in a place to where he could work on me inside, my heart and my mind, and build me up in that way, so that I would be a better version of Megan, so that I would be in a position to even get these different upgrades, because that's what's been happening. Like, he's upgrading everything around me. It feels like literally everything is changing. But I needed that to happen. And so how the year could start off and I feel so very behind, but then it's ending and it's like, oh, this actually put me ahead, because now I'm a better person because of all of that. Now I can handle even more than I could before. But in the moment, it just felt like it slowed me down and it was interrupting things. But I can look back and I can thank God for that now. Lately, I have been binging Transformers. So just hear me out real quick. This was my first time watching the fourth one, Age of Extinction. So the first one with Mark Wahlberg. And if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry. But Optimus had to take on a different form than what we're used to seeing Optimus as. And so to me, that even speaks to what I'm saying. Like, I'm so used to being Super Meg. Like, baby, I wasn't in my shiny, bright form. That's how I felt. And the form he took on was really kind of lowly. Like, let's be honest. It looked kind of broke down, even though I'm watching a movie like, but that's Optimus. Like, I didn't even know it was Optimus because of the form he had to take on. He had to take on that form because of the attack that he had just went through. It was to help disguise him, and it didn't take as much out of him to move in that form, okay? And even when I said that, I started thinking about Jesus and how he came into the world like the lowly manger, like how meek and humble he is. Don't ever get it twisted. God runs everything. God could have did whatever he needed to do to set things straight the way he wanted to at any given time, but the way he did it was in such a exemplary manner through Jesus Christ. Jesus was always Jesus, right? He was 100% God, 100% man. I ain't gonna get to preaching, but do you get what I'm saying? The form he took on as a human, he ain't have to do that. You get what I'm saying? And so that's that parallel. But Optimus had to take on that form until he could be worked on, doctored up. And then when he goes through that first upgrade in the movie, since taking on that form, and the humans are in the truck with him, they're like, what? And he's shiny, he's sparkling, like, there go the Optimus we know. That's how I feel in my life now. Like, I had to take on a whole different form in 2024 to survive, to lay low, because folks, the devil was at my neck because of the attacks and stuff. But now I'm in a place where I can go back to being myself, where I can take on my true form. Does that make sense? I hope that's a good illustration of that. But that's how the warfare has felt. And so you're not behind, you're better. And in every movie, I love how, and I was thinking about when I was binging Iron Man movies the other month, I loved how you see the evolution of his suit. Like, it goes from him having to, you know, he creates it and he has to like call it to him, or he has to like step in it, and like, or he has to go put on this whole suit. Like, think about how it started off in the desert, and where we got at the end of like his movies in Avengers and stuff, and how he just clicks a button and boom, it's on. Even how he puts his suit on, it becomes quicker, more efficient, and he always has updates. Like, we have to live in a state to where we can receive the updates. And I, because of what I do at work, I will hear things in work terms, and I can't always say that because everybody's not going to understand it, but you're a living thing. You're a living being. And we have to move in a way to where when heaven is trying to download and upgrade you, like, think about your iPhones. Like, it's time for a software update. Right. You need to have the space for the update on your phone. You need to be plugged into a power source. Come on, Holy Spirit, so that you can receive that update. Okay. And so I love that in Iron Man, the evolution of his suit. And that always takes me back to the full armor of God. Like, every time I watch it, I'm like, this is what this is like. Every Marvel character, I can do a parallel to the Bible, but I'm getting a little sidetracked. So you're not behind, you're better. You evolved. You were able to, when you took on your form again, it was an upgrade to even what it was when you had to come out of it to go into the lowly one that looked and appeared broken. Because Optimus looked like a broke down truck, and he was hurt, and the attack hit him really close to his heart. Like, that's what happened. His spark, that thing that's like, you know, Transformers where their soul is at, it nearly missed, right? Like, it barely missed. And that's why. And he's coughing up all this dust and all this stuff. Like, I was just watching that scene like, this is crazy. And that's why he had to take on that form, so he could hide out, right, and, you know, get fixed up. He needed his Autobots to help fix him up, but he ended up finding a friend in a human. The fourth Age of Extinction is really good. Like, and that's going to bring me to some of the Kingdom Marriage words. So, okay. So that's the first one. You're not behind. It may feel like that, but you're not behind. You're actually better. And you will, when you start back taking your normal form and the attack starts to wear off, and I did that. Remember, I said it was breaking off of you, all that stuff. You're going to realize that, like, oh, I'm better than I was before all that happened. You were. And it's always going to be like that. That is a pattern in the kingdom. God uses that to make you better, make you stronger, make you tougher. But I think that's where I got off track with Iron Man. The same thing happens with Optimus Prime. He always gets like an upgrade to his trailer and his tools to fight and all of that. And that's just how I see this life we live. Okay, switch gears. When you know what God is telling you, you believe you know what God is telling you, what he's shown you, and he'll show you things so many times. And it's like, well, why would you repeatedly show me that if you know it wasn't true? And you start to feel like you got it wrong, and it can affect your faith and you in doubt and all of that. Today I had a moment, it was crazy earlier, where I was like, yeah, I missed that, because I knew the decision he was telling me to make. Come on, Holy Spirit. The decision he was leading me to make, the decision I had peace to make, it seems like it was leading me away from what I thought he'd been telling me all this time. Like, why would I do that? And then it hit me. Like, that's why all this is coming up. It hit me because it is still what he showed me. It is that. But it's bigger than that. So you may be expecting, I don't want to give y'all the exact thing. Like, I have to be, like, that comes with the maturity and wisdom in this season. Like, you can't just be on the internet telling them every blessing God's sending your way. I don't want no extra smoke. I just don't, right? And so I'm preparing and thinking God is giving me something on this level. And I'm confused because it's like, but you telling me to do this, and that is definitely taking me away from this. It's because what he's doing is exactly what he showed you, but it's on this level. And because I'm holding this camera, it's going to be kind of hard. Y'all know I'm a visual person. I like illustrations. You're showing me this, or I think you're showing me this. I think you're showing me this at this level, but you're leading me somewhere that's like... Say it's like over here. And I'm aware, like, this is away from what you've shown me. But it's because where he's leading you is going to take you to that same thing, but at a higher level. I hope that makes sense. The example I can give y'all that I'm already living is showing me what it would be on the internet, and when things get weird and wonky, and I'm like, now you showed me this. And I will tell y'all, like, it was last year. This channel was not growing. This channel hasn't grown in a while, and I think that's because I was not growing. Like, not in a way to where the channel will grow with me. Does that make sense? Like, not because I wasn't growing, period, but I wasn't growing into the Megan that I have to be for this channel to grow. Does that make sense? Like, oh, that makes sense. So last year, this channel wasn't growing. And I remember being so confused, like, God, but I'm, I know sometimes I take breaks, but, like, I don't get it. And I was going through different stuff, different warfare. It was nowhere near as intense as what 2024 was. And then all of a sudden, he had blessed me with monetization on a whole nother platform, and I wasn't even trying. I was like, now, wait a minute. Right. We play so small. We know he'll bless us big. Like, in my mind, blessing me big is allowing me to be monetized on YouTube. But nowhere in my mind was I thinking be monetized on multiple platforms. That didn't cross my mind. And so when I'm confused about why what I thought was like, that's a big blessing, like just on the one platform. And I'm like, why isn't this going like how I thought it would go? And he like, haha, just kidding. You're going to be monetized on all. Oh, I didn't even know we was doing that. That's the type of God you serve. So don't be discouraged if it's not what you think it's supposed to be. I promise you, you really walking with God, you really trying your best to be obedient, you really trusting him, it's bigger than that. So we can be upset because it seems like it's not that, what he showed us, and it's because it is that, but it's bigger than that. And I don't know who else needs that, because that actually made me cry when he showed me that and told me that tonight. Like, oh, and I don't doubt it, because you did it for me in another area. So you thought I was going to bless you right here, and you can get upset with God. He can be like, what is going on? Like, I know you said that, and it make you just want to forget it, right? And he like, no, baby, like, it is that, but it's bigger than that. It was going to be that and some. It was going to be that and more. It was going to be that on a whole nother level of what you were even believing me for. And so I want to leave that with y'all, because my life, I think I said this a year or two ago, already more than what I could have imagined. It's already more than what I actually asked for, truthfully. Now, I know there's some other heart's desires, like we can get after those guys, you know, but in my realm of possibility, it has already surpassed that. Like, once I really start walking with him, he did his big one in my life. Like, oh, this is way more than I thought I could have. Like, you know? And so don't get upset, because it is that. It's exactly what he's been showing you, but it's bigger than that. It's more. It's so much added on that you don't even know. It's so much in the works and you don't even know. And I feel that in my whole heart tonight. Like, you don't even know. Like, you were excited about that it's more than that. You've been upset and frustrated because you haven't seen that, but that's because I'm giving you more than just that. More than just that. Like, he sits high and he look low. He really does, y'all. Like, and I'm just so grateful. I said that last night, like, I ain't got nothing but thank you. And I know when I get to that point, I'm in a good spot. Like, I ain't got nothing but thank you, because whatever you do, like, you don't have to do nothing else. But whatever you do is going to be good, because you're God. He's already done more than enough. And I thank him. I never thought I would be like, oh, you know, I'm just grateful after all that I went through this year. I didn't. And so I'm going to talk to y'all more about that. I have Kingdom Marriage Words. I have a lot. And you ain't got to announce. You just got to do. So I'll see you on the next few videos. Love y'all.